The Brothers War is a exciting set from after I started playing. I had an idea what was going on. This set came up and I was like, I'm very intrigued. It sounds exciting and it has artifacts are some of the top things to watch for. It's artifacts is a specific card type. The Brothers War itself, like I went a long time wondering who are the brothers. Well, the brothers are Urza and Mishra. They're like the main fundamental, like starting storyline of Magic the Gathering. They go all the way back to the beginning as to how this whole thing got started. And they're within the physical location of Dominaria. So you'll hear about the location Dominaria in other sets as well. There's sets with specifically that name, anyways. There's a whole line of conversation around a couple of stones that actually it's one stone that's split. And so you have these two different stones that are supposed to go together, and a somewhat seeming to be disconnected storyline that I would really like to understand how this works is we do also have the Planeswalker Teferi. Like this whole story apparently is told somehow or possible because Teferi has developed a kind of a time machine, but he projects his consciousness 4,000 years in the past in order for us to see this set. So Teferi actually has a lot of cool cards throughout this. And I believe one that I remember has to do with like blueprints for the time machine. And it's just really cool to see how Teferi plays in. He's a Planeswalker. It's a little bit of a different card. I don't believe I've opened any Planeswalkers. Maybe one in this series. Hopefully we get another one here. Would be really cool. Unfortunately, I do only have a single draft booster to take this to explore this entire set on, and that's not a lot. So hopefully, I'm able to get enough storyline off this one draft booster that we get a good picture of the Brothers War. If anyone would like to help donate to getting more packs available, that is an option available for you to do. I have details in the description. Another really easy way is to just the whole like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff that everyone talks about doing all the time. That's helpful as well. So here we go. We got the Power Stone. This is a really cool artifact token. I think it started here. Regardless, I played with it quite a few times. It basically helps you cast artifacts, but doesn't do anything for the storyline. So, unfortunately, missed that mark. There was some conversation that could have been had there. Tower Worker. These are cool. All right. I like these a whole lot more than most people. Even Urza's most mundane creatures share his obsession with perfection. That's cool. I see people hanging out in baskets outside of skyscrapers like that, washing windows. It'd be so nice to have a drone that does it. I bet. Just kidding. That's an idea. Maybe I didn't say that. Save that one for myself. Bonesaw. This, I would like to understand why. I always think this is like a starfish. This looks like a starfish to me, but okay. This is an artifact. And I believe this is supposed to be our flavor text that says, in a world where death is always violent, cruel weapons are are as common as rocks. Okay, this is a game mechanic, so typically I'm not spending much time talking about them here, but this was really neat. You can have an actual artifact or whatever it is. Like in this case, it's an artifact creature. There's a lot of different things that do this, but you have the actual creature here and the stuff that happens, but then you can cast it as a prototype, and doing so keeps these abilities, but it just makes it a little bit weaker. And I just think this is the coolest set mechanic. Each set has like new stuff it introduces, and this I believe was first introduced in this set, and it just has so much to do with the storyline of the set. I love they built the play of the story into the actual set. So playing cards like this helps explain the story, which is really, really cool. I didn't feel like that happened up to this point yet. So Lauren, Disciple of History. Urza and Mishra may have been Tukasaya's most famous students, but Lauren was the true heir to her legacy. So is that how we say that? Lauren, disciple of history. Okay. So the main characters here we're talking about are on this one card. Ursa and Mashira are the brothers that are fighting. And although they're the ones who became famous, this individual ends up taking over and ruling apparently in the future. So we'll see how that all works out, which is where the time travel comes in. You know, Urza could know this to be true, and that might be a relevant person in Magic history. Mask of the Jade Crafter. All right. Nothing storyline there, just an interesting artifact. Like we said, we're expecting a lot of artifacts out of this because this is a story of history of how Urza was able to go back in time or send his consciousness back in time. Should be neat to discuss with somebody. What's it matter? What's the difference? Arms race. We have those all the time, it seems. You want it good, fast, or cheap. You can't have all three. It literally reminds me of a poster I saw at a restaurant that literally said, your service can be pick two, good, fast, or cheap. And I think instead of good, it might have said quality. You can pick any two. I'm like, that rings so true. Stone retrieval unit. Automations could be rebuilt. Power stones could not. Actually, that says automatons could be rebuilt. Automatons are these creatures. Sorry, I'm reading these a bit fast there for that. But power stones, the idea there is that power stones are a bit more rare. So automatons, we can rebuild them, not the power stones. We send them into danger. Retrieval agent. The humming tome buried his leather glove, nearly taking his hand along with it. Then a strange power coursed through him. All right. So it sounds kind of like almost like a warrior of sorts. He is listed as a human soldier, so that makes sense. Disenchant. One dawn, several thousand more to go. Oh, I'm having a hard time, sorry. One down, several thousand more to go. So he disenchanted. So he's causing whatever this... I think the idea there is some kind of a artifact or enchantment that, or maybe an enchanted artifact. That's actually a way we might think about it. And he gets rid of it. So it destroys either an artifact or an enchantment. So that makes sense. I like that for the set. Unleash Shell. The new cannon's destructive power more than make up for its unpredictable blast radius. So this one, I feel like the actual game mechanic really matters in the storyline. It says, Unleash Shell deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and 2 damage to that permanent's controller. So it's kind of cool, because it like damages something that's in play, and then it sends extra damage to the actual player, which is considered to be a separate component within Magic. So that's cool. Gix Caress. Show me all the delicious misery you have sown. Okay, clearly a bad guy, which makes sense as to why he's on the black card. All right, the swamps there. Hoarding Recluse. To the spiders of Argoth, Thopters were just bigger, crunchier flies. Oh, that's cool. So these spiders, Thopters are kind of like a machine that apparently they found a way to make, or to consume. Perimeter Patrol. The Faluji quickly learned that the Kair ridges held too many caves and valleys to be surveyed from the air alone. So they have to, so obviously Perimeter Patrol goes through and looks. Oh, it's the same lady from earlier in the pack. Lauren's Escape. As Teresa City burned, Felden pressed the Silex into Lauren's hand and urged her to run. Hope ran with her. Oh, that's some cool flavor text. I really, really like that one. Whirling Strike. I will trust Desert Steel in Falaj. hands over a soulless machinery, over a soulless machine any day. Hajar Masada's bodyguard. All right, so that's Whirling Strike. I will trust Desert Steel in Falaji's hands over a soulless machine any day. Said by Hajar Mashan's bodyguard. Very cool. I'm happy with the set. They did a good job working. I think this is the first time that I really felt like they worked game mechanics into the storyline. The story on the cards also reflected the storyline and slightly referred to the game mechanics. So that was cool. I think that's pretty neat and definitely something I hope to see a whole lot more of.